Thank you so much for being here. It's the 7th of July, Sunday. Fun day. I don't have one to make a rhyme. It's really not fun day. Thank you all for being here. As you can see, we're doing a Shine the Light with Mr. Key Wendell. Probably known Key 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. I don't know. Time flies when you're having fun. It flies even if you're not having fun. But anyway, yeah, as you know, we've been pushing this Shine the Light. It's been very successful because I believe there's a lot of there's many people, founders out there that have talents that maybe they don't even know. But I know Key's always been a supporter for everyone from the very beginning. He's helped me with many things, actually, things outside of ONPASSIVE, really, and and I appreciate it. I love the idea that I think one of the benefits of ONPASSIVE that I didn't realize would be such a benefit is meeting different people. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Johnson, the vacationer. There is a dance video about him when he was. I just want to say a lifetime ago that you might want to look up. The dude could move. Well, she could move, but I think he still can. Anyway, here's Chris Johnson.
Well, thank you, Marty, for that. Welcome, Key Wendell, my brother. Shining the light on this guy. He's got probably one of the toughest jobs in the world. I'll let him explain to you about that. But he has come to our aid for many things where people get sick. Gives a lot of good advice, not professional advice, good advice, because he's not a certified doctor. He might as well be, but I mess with him all the time. I have fun doing it, especially on trivia. He is also one of our trivia questionnaires, and he does a great job with it. So if you ever get that chance, come. It's kind of fun. But Key, I'm going to bring you up. I'm a couple things to talk about when you started in passive. Your background, a little bit about you, and what do you think you're going to get out of a passive. So on that note, I'm going to introduce the Mr. Amazing Key Wendell. Go on, Key. Come on.
Morning, guys. Morning, everybody. I finally got my toothbrush out of my mouth this morning. I'm Key Wendell. I'm from Eastern North Carolina. Born here, but not raised here. My father was a pilot in the Air Force in the mid 50s, early 60s, 70s. Flew the Korean War, flew the Vietnam War. That has led me on my path to doing some things for veterans, specifically the Air Force. I met a gentleman that makes some pretty unique flags, and they can be specifically designed for different armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, whatever. And I've donated some of those, and some of them are actually in some museums. One hangs at Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina. And I've got one here that's going to go to the Hickory Museum in Hickory, North Carolina. But that's kind of my passion outside of work, is doing things for the Air Warrior Courage Foundation and what they do. But professionally, I'm a registered respiratory therapist. I am not a doctor, nor do I want to be. I have stayed at a Holiday Inn a few nights, so that qualifies me to give advice. It's been a great career. It's been a rewarding career. I have been involved on a team effort as part of the ICU team of seeing people at their absolute worst and end up going home. I also have seen the other side of it too, and compassion and caring for family members and all that certainly comes into play with anybody in the medical profession. It's a tough field, but I think I was born to be in it. I was with my brother. This is something Marty and I share. We both lost a brother when we were 8 years old. Marty lost his brother to the war, in Vietnam, and I lost my brother to a tragic mini bike accident. And I think that had something to parlay in the back of my mind as far as me going into medicine and going into as being a respiratory therapist. And some of you are saying, what does a respiratory therapist do? Because you never hear about us. You know, you hear things on the news and the TV. It's thanks to doctors and the nurses. Well, the doctors and the nurses are the ones that come to us when there's an airway issue or there's a problem with a patient on a ventilator. And it's like, what do we need to do? You know, and well, get some lab work, look at some blood work, look at some x-rays and figure it out. It's always a problem solving. And I think that's the part of medicine that I enjoyed, was being on that team trying to figure out, you know, what's going on. And I think that's, I've kind of tried to parlay that into ONPASSIVE. Not that I can figure out what's going on, because I'm not a techie guy. I did take a few computer courses, and I found out early that zeros and ones and a computer screen wasn't for me. And, you know, I don't code. And I didn't, I'm wired different. You know, I think we all understand people that are technically are wired a little different, and thank God for them. You know, I can't talk to Bob and Collins and engineer Mike and Oliver. You know, I can't talk to those guys on their level of their understanding of the IT world. I don't have that skill set, but thank God they do. And they break it down for us, and we, you know, we understand what's going on. They understand more than we do what's going on right now. And they understand better than we do of the time that it takes for what is happening to take place. But back to ONPASSIVE, I got involved in ONPASSIVE through Fred. I was out of work, tore rotator cuff, bored, looking for something to do, and he shared ONPASSIVE with me. And I shared it with some people that were networkers, and I have grown my little organization. Most of it's me. That's a long story, but anyway, I've got my little group together and my plan and what I plan to do with it. And about a month, I got involved in June of 2020 with my first position. The very following month, I came across a gentleman in Eastern North Carolina named Jeffrey Morlock. I stalked Jeffrey and hunted him down and went and knocked on his door, and we sat down and instantly became pretty good friends. And Jeffrey is a dear friend to me this day via ONPASSIVE. I would not have met Jeffrey. I would not have met Mr. Marty DeGarmo, and I would not have met Mr. Chris Johnson if not for ONPASSIVE. These two guys have become buddies of mine. We spend some time on trivia, joke with each other and kid, and also the serious side of it. But I'm fortunate to be on ONPASSIVE. I'm looking for ONPASSIVE to be my retirement from healthcare. And I encourage anybody that's a nurse, a respiratory therapist, an x-ray technician, a lab tech, if you sweep the floors at a hospital, whatever you do, and you're like, man, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something out there that, you know, this can't be it for me. Take a look at ONPASSIVE and see where we're going. I've not met Ash personally. I have talked with Ash. I have come to respect the man and value his friendship and his wisdom of what he is trying to do. And I know he's got a lot of demons that are trying to make this more difficult than it has to be. And some of those are founders. Hate to say that, but sometimes we make things more difficult than need to be. But God bless him. God bless everybody that's in ONPASSIVE. I love you all, and I'm just happy to be here, man.
Beautiful. Key Wendell, the man.
Absolutely, that was fantastic.
Key, what is your goals in ONPASSIVE? What do you think you're going to get out of this?
Well, like I said, Chris, I'm looking for it to help me with my retirement. I bounced around a lot in my 35 years. I started training in Greenville, North Carolina, through East Carolina University. I did my undergrad at East Carolina, and then I actually went into my respiratory program through a community college there, Pitt Community College, and I trained at, back then, 35 years ago, it was called Pitt County Memorial Hospital. And today it's a very well known and very well respected medical center in the eastern half of North Carolina. I got involved in the cardiac cath lab there before I went to school, and worked my way into getting into school, got my education, and I rounded next to residents in medicine in the ICU, because we would round with the pulmonologist, and residents don't know a damn thing about a ventilator. I mean, I'm just sorry, they don't. And we would actually help in their education of what we do. And because residents, they spend a short time. We spend 2.5 years studying just thoracic medicine. So I am looking for ONPASSIVE to help me with my retirement. And I'm a 35-year-old RT. I'm an old dog, and it's time for me to pass the stethoscope. And since I bounced around a lot, I got some money in 401s here and there and kind of spread around. So, I didn't stay at like a Ford and got 35 years and got a nice pension. I've got some scattered bones laying around, and so that's what I'm looking for is, I want out of medicine. I'm done. I've done, it's like them asking you to come back and, hey, Chris, can you help us out 2 days a week at Ford? That ain't happening. So, I'm thankful for the time I spent. I'm thrilled with who I helped and what I did. And yeah, I've got memories. I've got ghosts. But I'm ready to do something else. I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to see the world. When I was a little kid, I spent some time in Germany with my father, and I want to go back and see some of these places. Now that I'm an adult and can remember it and can drink the beer, I want to go back.
Very good, Key Wendell. Well, it was a pleasure for all of us, myself and Marty, for having you on here. Interesting life, Key. You've led a very interesting life, and even with the pensions, I'm still here, aren't I? Because I know that pension really isn't going to get me where I want to be. And just like you've had a phenomenal medical career, and we know that pensions really pay a little bit. They don't pay a lot. And then passive's going to come in, and I might forget about that pension. You'll see. But before I hand it over to Marty, I do want to shout out to so happy birthday. Anybody's got a birthday today. And please remember Robin Noble in your prayers, silent prayers. She's going through some difficult times. And Mr. Peter Rogers, I want to do a silent prayer for him. He's got some things going on, so keep those two in your prayers. And anyone else that's having issues, get on there. So Marty DeGarmo, back to you.
Fantastic, Keith. Fantastic, man. The job that I had before ONPASSIVE, which was a long time ago now, but I was there 26 years, went out of high school, and it prepared me, because I traveled around the world, it prepared me for ONPASSIVE. And there's one thing that I value, maybe more than anything when I'm meeting somebody, is I trust them. Key is on that list. If I had something that I really didn't want anybody else to know, he'd be the guy I'd go to. There's a lot in ONPASSIVE, but I'm just saying, out in the real world, meeting somebody online, especially in business or whatever you want to call those other opportunities, trust is an issue. And you don't always get what you think you're getting. And when I got ONPASSIVE and I realized that the gathering of the people on ONPASSIVE, men and women around the world, was automatically filtered out by the heart. And that's what makes us who we are. And there's plenty of room for other people. Like like Keith said, you soon the doors open back up, and if you get an opportunity to be in something where people legitimately care about you, they have a vested interest in how well you are, and there was before I got here, there was never a problem of building something or doing something online. The problem was everybody that I invited to whatever I'm inviting them to was trampled on and just smashed to the ground. And then on passive, that's not the case. Everyone's going to be successful. Everyone, different degrees. You can do it fast. You can do it slow. You don't have an auto ship. I mean, the point is, if you could be somewhere where you look over, you call somebody from North Carolina all the way to South Africa. There's people I can talk to, and they're like family, and that's a part of the value of this company that I didn't realize until 5 years down, 5.5 years. It's a big deal. Yeah, you have a few warts in there, but eventually they dry up and go away because negative people don't feel very confident in a positive world. It doesn't compute, so they move on. But anyway, I want to thank Keith for being here. This has worked out very, very well. I love the idea because most people wouldn't know Key. And down the road, a year, 6 years, 5 years, whatever, you can look back because videos are there forever. And, we could bring Key back in a year or 2 years and hear about chapter number 2. Because everybody's got another chapter coming. And I'll tell you what, chapter 1 was fun. It was life experience in ONPASSIVE. But chapter 2, I think it's going to be a lot more fun. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Have a nice Sunday. And don't forget, at 2 o'clock, Heroes is coming on, and they're going to come on this restream, and they'll be on many different YouTube channels. So, because restream can only hold 10 people, but it'll be on many, many channels. It's already been posted. They're very good at telling the truth, and if they don't know, they say they don't know. And yesterday, Mr. Mupara came on. Heroes Shine the Light, because they're doing Shine the Light, and he came on. He just popped in, and usually when Ash pops in, it's crazy good, and it was crazy good. The best thing you could see in a CEO or somebody running a business is what is their demeanor? How are they acting? He was really upbeat. If you get a chance, watch that. Anyway, we'll see you all today at 2. Oh yeah, and tonight at 9:30, you can play trivia. And you don't even have to be that good. Right, Chris?